Yeah, well, he's doing a nice job. He's done a nice job off the field. He's doing a nice job on the field. He's sometimes you learn from your mistakes. That's the important part. So all of that, and then on the field, he's just been full speed ahead. Yeah. No pun intended.
Shut up, Brian.
Welcome to the pod. Welcome to Brian's World. I am your host, the ambassador of Kansas City, yo big homie, Brian B. Shynin.
Brian.
I'm so honored and blessed that you have chosen to take the time to click Brian's World and listen to me and my foolishness right here on Foolish Club Media, because I realized that you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. And I'm blessed that you're spending time with me. Speaking of Foolish Club Media, please tap in, subscribe, like, share, comment, do what you do on all social platforms, specifically on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, please tap into the Brian B. Shynin YouTube page at B. Shynin, so you can tap into everything that's going on in my direction with Brian's World. The entire episodes divided up into parts. They upload every week on YouTube, as well as my Hustle and Shine in the morning content on Hot 103 Jams with my partner Deanna Hustle.
Duh.
I love that girl. I like to find a way to just insert her in the show somehow, some way. Man, that's my partner right there. And whatever, beats, mixes, whatever else I got going, man, everything, which is a lot of shit, over on my B Shining page on YouTube. This week's episode of Brian's World includes Mahomes getting that LeBron hate. Remember when LeBron was getting hated on real bad in the 2010s? Confession, I was one of the biggest LeBron haters in the early 2010s. Yeah. I'll break that down, since I might be such an expert in that category. Why I'm cheering for Kingsley Suamataia. He's going to be one of the players that I'm going to be looking at coming up in the preseason games. I'll explain why that is so important. Also, I'm going to take my first look around the league as preseason is getting going. We're starting to see what teams' depth charts are looking like and what I think is going to be forecast for this season. This is going to be an interesting one, baby. That's going to be a good segment. There's this NFL Fanbase tier list that's floating around the internet, specifically on Twitter. Can't wait to dive into that. That's going to be fun. And then, to close it out, another Tubi movie review. This week's movie, 1987. Once again, I told you I've been really into that year. Maybe it's because my wife was born in 87. I don't know. But there was a lot of good movies that came out in 87. Street Smart, starring Christopher Reeve, Superman, and also Morgan Freeman playing a pimp.
Lord have
Oh
mercy.
boy, it is a barn burner. I can't wait for that later on in Brian's World. I wonder one day if it could be a certain IQ test or some test of knowledge or intellectual prowess when it comes to getting your internet. And the moment that you just say the absolute dumbest thing that you could say, they should just cut your internet off and you should be on internet suspension for like a month or something. The moment you come out and say this dumb shit.
I personally, now that football season has started, I personally think that Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be anything without Andy Reid. If Deshaun Watson was drafted by the Chiefs, he'd probably be the number one quarterback in the league.
Does Deshaun Watson, does the stuff still happen if he's in Kansas City?
I feel like, though, Andy Reid could have maybe guided him in a better way,
That's probably
maybe
true.
He wouldn't be such a bad guy.
It's like in this world of instant gratification or trophy show-offs or I don't know. But the moment you do something almost great, something that people cannot accomplish, you get bashed for it. And Mahomes not winning the Super Bowl has really gotten people in their feelings. And or stupid, or both. Because we have heard some of the most asinine statements regarding that man, and it was just one game. It was a Super Bowl. Everything was on the line. The first three-peat in NFL history, blase, blase, blase. But people are just going off the cliff with some of their takes. This lady sat up here and said, we already know the answer to this question. It's like, or to this dumbass question, I should say, about her thinking that if it wasn't for Andy Reid, Mahomes, blah, 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 blah. But we saw what Andy Reid did with other quarterbacks. See, this lady just started watching football the past 5 years or so or something. I don't know. Because we saw what Andy Reid was doing with Donovan McNabb. We saw what he did with Kevin Call. We saw what he did with Michael Vick. We saw what he did with Alex Smith. And you need football is just such a team sport. It takes everybody from the front office to down to the water boy for everybody to effectively do their job. Meaning, like, a quarterback needs a coach and a coach needs a quarterback. You need that in football. You can't have one without the other. And for those who, like, Tom Brady wouldn't be who he is without Belichick. Vice versa. Belichick wouldn't be who he is without Tom Brady. But we've seen what Andy Reid looks like without Patrick Mahomes already. We've seen it. Close but no cigar. We know that he's one of the most prolific NFL offensive play callers and offensive designers in the history of the game. He's top 5, and I'm being very generous with that. You can bring up who you want on your list. But my point in this is, and we've seen what Patrick Mahomes looks like with Andy Reid. It's a damn train wreck, at least in college. Kind of, sort of. Like, he was just going out there trying to make plays. But it takes a teacher. It takes somebody who you respect, somebody who has a certain acumen for the game to kind of tone all that down, but still letting your quarterback or whoever be who they need to be. That is great coaching. So I don't get how consistency is being punished. Like, since when is losing the Super Bowl worse than never even sniffing one? Josh Allen has, I guess, sniffed one thanks to the Chiefs. He's gotten close, but no cigar. Now, if Josh Allen had Andy Reid instead of Sean McDermott, who's the head coach of the Bills, maybe Josh Allen would have a few trophies in his case right now. But you need both. I don't get how these people are saying these things, man. And then you got professionals, people in national media, all of a sudden spewing this nonsense.
Think about the seasons Joe Burrow has actually finished. In 2 of those seasons, you go to the AFC championships. In 1 of those seasons, you advance. And then you look at last year, and he's the best quarterback in the world, and it's not a conversation. I was talking this offseason to a lot of defensive coaches, and I was talking to a defensive coach, and he talked to me about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. And he says to me, he was like, bro, he's like, those dudes just know how to make something out of nothing. But the reason he thought Joe Burrow was the best was, he said, but Joe Burrow never misses the something.
Burrow has 1 Super Bowl appearance and nothing to show for it, but somehow he's better. And then Ryan Clark wants to bring up specifically the seasons that he's been healthy, which has been maybe half the time that Joe Burrow has been in the league. But being available is a part of the gig. Like, if you're not available, you're of no use to the Bengals. It's all wishes. And that be my thing with people always trying to defend the Bengals and defend Joe Burrow. It's always if or wishes, or they wanna move the goalposts or manipulate some type of stats or numbers to try and back up their pointless, take. And it's like, if you take all of Joe Burrow's body of work, and yes, he's been great. I'm not trying to take anything from that man. He is a great quarterback in the league, but he's not in the same atmosphere as Patrick Mahomes. He's not. As far as winning, as far as what really counts. The crown comes with critics, though, so it's like the more dominant you are, the more that people look for ways to tear you down. And nothing has been more of an example of that than this 2025 offseason. The media, has this double standard, and it's like, I don't understand how going back to Ryan Clark, how he can put potential over proven results. I cannot wait to hear the excuses after this season when the Bengals have to average scoring 50 points a game because their defense can't get nobody off the field, and they end up with a 10-7 record or a 9-8 record and just barely missing out on the playoffs again. Then what's the excuse gonna be? Patrick Mahomes does this thing year in and year out, and people still. I just think that is probably the public fatigue with the domination of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, because the same thing happened with LeBron, and this is where the LeBron comparison comes in, because in the 2010s, when LeBron was with the Heat, and I hated that move, I could not stand it. I couldn't stand the superstars stacking up teams. I did not like it. Was not a fan. But him and his NBA Finals record though was very skeptical back then. Especially it was more towards when he went back to the Cavs and was with the Warriors. And look, I was in line with criticizing him for it. And the only reason I criticized LeBron back then for his NBA Finals record is because people were already trying to put him above Jordan. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand that at all. At all. But it's like, there's no comparison here with Patrick Mahomes. He's chasing ghosts. He's chasing Tom Brady. He is not worried about Joe Burrow. He's not worried about Josh Allen. He ain't worried about my second favorite quarterback in the league, Lamar Jackson. And it's a shame that people don't even mention Jalen Hurts before they mention all of them, because Jalen Hurts is the one who beat him when it actually counted. Burrow did it once in the AFC Championship game, but to beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, only Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady can say that. So Jalen Hurts is in elite company, and they still disrespect that man. But with LeBron and his NBA Finals record, it was right to be criticized. It was right. It was. But then punishing him for, doing something that his contemporaries couldn't even do. How many NBA Finals Carmelo Anthony go to? Kyrie didn't get to NBA Finals before he got with LeBron. At the end of the day, when it comes down to Mahomes, I don't understand how people can say that losing the Super Bowl is worse than never making it at all. Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to stay on the minds and the hearts of haters alike. Because if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.